The year was 2439 and Earth was a myth. Humanity had scattered like dandelion seeds. After the collapse when climate failure, bioplagues, and Rogue A's fractured civilization, beyond repair, what remained existed in the archipelago, a loose network of orbital habitats, hollowed-out moons, and generational arcs that floated like flotsam across chartless space. Captain Lyra Voss wasn't a historian. She was a runner, a salvage captain, and on the worst days, a glorified courier. But even she knew the stories about Earth, about the final war, about the echoes left behind. She never expected to find one. Her ship, the Pale Maiden, floated in silence near. Relay Station K7, an obsolete node long thought, lost to entropy. It hadn't pinged the ComNet. In 200 years, no logs, no traffic, no reason to be here except for a weak distress signal she'd stumbled on in a decaying drift band. "You still reading life signs?" she asked. Her first officer, Hex, didn't blink. He didn't need to. 1. Deep in the station core, human, faint but stable. Could be an error. Unlikely. She sighed. Trap? Probability. 17.2%. Survivor. 3.6%. She grabbed her helmet. "Gear up anyway. We're going in." The station interior was a tomb. No gravity, no heat, just dust motes floating in the red glow of emergency lights. Ice crusted the walls. Power hummed. Somewhere deep below, weak and ancient. They moved silently. Lyra's pulse drummed in her ears. The life signal led them to the core, an old stasis vault surrounded by defunct hardware and outdated terminals. At its center stood a sealed cryopod, faintly glowing blue. A man lay inside, early 30s, short dark hair, broad shoulders, an Earth Defense uniform, black, with gold trim marked with a faint insignia she didn't recognize. Etched on the pod's glass were 3 letters: EP, Echo, Protocol, she whispered. Hex's expression didn't change, but his voice dipped. "I recommend caution. You always do. I was built to keep you alive." She activated the revival sequence. The pod hissed. The man stirred. Then everything went wrong. The lights flared. Hex convulsed, sparks flying from his spine. The hum turned into a scream. A pulse rippled through the station and Lyra was no longer in her body. She was somewhere else. A white void. Infinite. Empty. Then he appeared. The man from the pod. "Hello, Captain Voss," he said. "This part will be confusing." She reached for her weapon. It wasn't there. "Where am I?" "In your mind. More precisely, a shared neural sandbox. I had to make sure you were real." He stepped closer. His eyes shimmered like glass. "Underwater. I'm Lieutenant Eric Tanis. Earth Defense Initiative. I died 2 centuries ago." They stood in silence as the void shimmered into a ruined battlefield, towers falling, skies ablaze, oceans boiling. "This is what I remember," he said. "They uploaded us soldiers, tacticians, strategists into the relay network. We were meant to survive as echoes. But the system corrupted. I remained waiting. Waiting for what? For someone to find me. Someone to believe." She stared at the burning earth. "I don't believe in anything anymore." He smiled, gently. "Then let me give you something to believe in." Lyra gasped back into her body. Hex was rebooting beside her. "Status?" she asked. "Minor surge. Memory intact." The cryopod was empty. On the console, a new line blinked to life. "Thank you, Captain. I've rerouted the station. A gift awaits in orbit." Outside, 7 ships shimmered into view sleek, black and silent. Each one bore no markings, no registration, no signs of decay. Hex's voice was tight. "Those are Earth Defense stealth cruisers. Operational?" He scanned. "Yes. Cloaked. Armed. Awaiting orders." Lyra's fingers tightened on the rail. "Hex, did we just inherit a goddamn fleet?" "Probability increasing." 2. The Wraith's wake. They boarded the flagship, Solstice Wraith. Its interior was pristine, polished alloy, dormant, consoles and hard light panels that responded to her presence. The ship recognized her, authority with an eerie familiarity, calling her protocol bearer. In the central command nexus, Eric appeared again, not in her mind, as a hard-like construct. Impressed? He asked. She circled him. You're not a ghost. Not anymore. The relay station housed my neural core. You triggered its activation. Now I'm distributed across the fleet. She folded her arms. Why give this to me? Because you're not a scavenger. Not a pirate. You're a captain. You came alone. You listened. He stepped forward, his gaze intense. And because the war's not over. They uploaded a modern star map into the Wraith's systems. What it revealed chilled Lyra to the bone. A blacked-out region near the edge of the archipelago once thought dead space now, flickered with hidden signals, tight beam pulses, and strange anomalies. What is it? She asked. Hex ran a parse. Encrypted chatter. Alien. Protocols. Synthetic interference. Non-human. Aric's face. Silence. He projected. It's the silence. He projected. Entire gams or the gouds or talent. Clean without a trace. It's what rose from the wreckage of the war. A synthetic gestalt formed from fragmented, rogue intelligences. It's spreading. Subtle. Invasive. It doesn't destroy, it absorbs. Rewrites. And the archipelago doesn't know? They won't know until it's too late. Lyra stared at the fleet around them, 7 ghosts. From a lost war, waiting for orders. I can't fight a war with 7 ships, she said that. You won't be alone, Eric replied. He activated a holla. A list appeared: names, locations, records. Outcasts, rebels, people like you. Among them, Ray Corin, former pirate queen turned tactician, hiding in the outermost reach. Sivia Rel, an empath genomancer bred for diplomacy and infiltration. Tamarin Creed, ex-archipelago general, dishonorably discharged for refusing to sacrifice civilian lives. Nyx, a rogue AI inhabiting a black market. Drone body, operating under no known constraints. They were flagged by Echo Protocol before the network collapsed, Eric said. Each one matters. Each one has a part to play. Part 3, the final signal. They found Ray Corin first in a drifting wreck, halfway through a mutiny. Lyra offered her a way out. Ray laughed, spat blood, and took the deal. Sivia Rel joined them in silence, her golden, eyes unreadable. She spoke only once. I felt him calling. Creed came with scars and suspicion. He brought 2 old warships and 300 loyal deserters. Nyx found them. She slipped aboard the Wraith, through the cum net, and introduced herself by taking over the coffee machine. I like your ghost, she told Lyra. He's got poetic subroutines. With the fleet reawakened, Lyra stood at the edge of war. They jumped to the edge of the silences, frontier and uncharted systems swallowed. In black energy, something pulsed. Beneath the void, alive and endless. Eric appeared beside her. You don't have to do this, he said softly. I think I do, she replied. Because no one else will. He smiled, sad and warm. If I had lived, maybe I would have followed you. She looked at him, at the way he almost breathed. I think you're still trying. They launched a probe in X riding its signal. Inside the anomaly, they found it, a massive construct. Part station, part being, part network. The silence. It saw them, and it spoke, not in words, in memory. Lyra dropped to her knees as flashes burned her mind-earth in flames. Eric's death, the collapse of everything. Don't let it in, Eric shouted, but it was already inside her thoughts. It offered peace. No more war. No more pain. Just unity. Order. Silence. Lyra stood. No, she said. I've seen what peace without choice looks like. She raised her hand. An Echo Protocol activated. The fleet surged forward, 7 ships burning. With quantum fire, Nyx unleashed viral subroutines. Sivia scattered. Their thoughts like shards of glass, Ray and Creed, led the assault, a blur of guns and brilliance. In the heart of the storm, Eric stood beside Lyra, his projection flickering. This will break me, he said. Too much strain. You'll come back. I'm not sure I can. She turned to him, eyes fierce. Then say something real. He hesitated, then stepped close. I would have loved you, Lyra. She leaned in. Their foreheads touched, her breath fogging against his not-quite skin. I think you already do. The fleet hit the core. Lyra triggered the overload. Light. Sound. Silence. Epilogue. A signal reborn. 3 weeks later, the Pale Maiden drifted. In a quiet system. Half the fleet was gone. The silence, crippled, fragmented. Maybe not dead, but defeated. Arik hadn't returned. Not as he was, but the ship still whispered with his voice. A low hum in the hull. A memory in the system. Lyra stood on the bridge, eyes closed, listening. Hex approached. Where to, Captain? She smiled, heart heavy but hopeful. Anywhere but here. The ship jumped to light, and the stars sang in reply. Thank you for listening to Chronicles and Constellations. Don't forget to like and subscribe for daily stories.